Hi, my name is Mickey Osterreicher. I'm the General Counsel of the National Press Photographers Association, and I love what I do for our members. I'm a member because I'm proud to be a member of NPPA. It's not so much about what NPPA can do for me as for what I can do for NPPA, and I think everybody should have that attitude. I was a child of television. I grew up in the 50s. I was an only child. I watched TV all the time. That was like my sibling. And like to work at a television station for me was like I get to watch TV, but I'm in charge. I started out in college taking pictures for the school paper. I was never in any pictures growing up because I was always the one taking them. I never really thought about it in that real conscious sense, but when I look back on it, it's like, yeah, there's always me taking the pictures and I'm not in them. So yeah, in college, I ended up shooting and then becoming the photo editor of the school paper and then starting the string for the AP. This is back in the early 70s. And I just kind of fell in love with news photography. I started shooting with a TK-76 and a 4800 Sony deck, which had no time code, which weighed a ton. The TK-76 had no shoulder pad. It was like carrying a boombox, a hard square boombox on your shoulder. It's in your blood. I think there's some people that hate deadlines, yeah, and other people that thrive on them. It was very interesting for me, having shot stills for so long, having had to shoot and tell a story in one picture because usually that was all that we were going to get in the newspaper. I basically felt I never worked a day in my life. It's like, you're paying me to do this? Like, I get to do all these cool things, hang out of helicopters, go to Super Bowls, be on the field, do all that, and you're paying me on top of that? I mean, you know, so now to be able to represent photographers on behalf of NPPA is really a wonderful way for me to give back. And I've been a member of NPPA since 1973. I truly believe that visual journalists do things that are so very important for our democracy. And I think it's really important that the rights of journalists, that the First Amendment rights of this country are protected, and to be able to actually do that day in and day out is why I do what I do. Journalists are just there risking their lives and welfare and safety to tell stories and get those images back to the public to see what's going on. I've also been a uniformed reserve sheriff's deputy, which really helps me understand that it's not that easy being a law enforcement officer. The problem is that there are a lot of people who are doing journalism with cell phones, and they're doing good journalism. And then when protesters have cell phones, trying to, in the heat of the moment, figure out who's a journalist, who's not a journalist, it's very difficult. It's a challenge, but nobody ever said law enforcement wasn't a challenge. And you need to be able to make those decisions. And so I feel an obligation to help train police officers so everybody wins, so they don't get sued, so journalists can do their job, and so the public can be informed. You know, we're going to be left with user-generated content, and whether that's believable, whether anybody cares, whether there's certainly not going to be a code of ethics about, you know, those images and vetting of those images and the truthfulness of those images. And I've made this point to Congress, and I've made this point to anybody I can make it to. That's an important part of this democracy that is going to go away. We want people to be proud and invested of the fact that they're an NPPA member.